When Antonio Rossi turned 103, the whole village gathered to celebrate. The mayor brought wine, the baker made extra loaves, and children from the school sang songs outside his home in Sardinia. Antonio sat in the sun, his eyes clear and his back straight, laughing with a warmth that filled the square. "It's nothing special," he said modestly when someone asked his secret. "We eat, we walk, we talk, we rest, that's all." Across the ocean, in a quiet suburb of Ohio, 75-year-old Richard Miller sat in front of his television, reheating dinner in the microwave. His doctor had warned him about his blood pressure and his heart, but Richard had shrugged it off. He worked long hours most of his life, rarely took vacations, and now that he was retired, he spent most days alone. His dinner, processed chicken, instant potatoes, and a beer, didn't look much like the colorful plate Antonio's granddaughter had served that same evening in Sardinia. Lentils, tomatoes, olive oil, and bread still warm from the oven. The contrast between the two men wasn't just a story of geography. It was a story of culture, rhythm, and how people choose to live. For decades, researchers have wondered why Italians, especially those from places like Sardinia and Calabria, live so long, often well past 100, while Americans, with all their modern medicine, often don't reach 80. The answer, as it turns out, lies in 5 simple but shocking truths. The first reason is food, not diet, but relationship to food. In Antonio's home, meals are sacred. Every morning begins with fruit, coffee, and bread made by hand. Lunch is shared with neighbors or family. Vegetables come from the garden, olive oil from a friend's orchard, fish from the market down the road. Eating isn't just about nutrients, it's a social act, slow and full of gratitude. In contrast, Richard's meals are often eaten in silence, in front of a glowing screen, assembled from boxes and cans. The food may be fast, but the nourishment is shallow. Over time, that difference builds or breaks the body. The second reason is movement, not exercise. Italians in small towns don't go to gyms. They walk to the store, carry groceries home, garden, and climb stairs daily. Their strength comes from living, not working out. Antonio still tends his lemon trees every morning, bending, stretching, hauling small buckets of water. Richard, on the other hand, drives everywhere. The longest walk he takes most days is from his recliner to the mailbox. The modern American lifestyle, built for convenience, quietly erases the kind of motion the body needs to stay alive. The third reason is stress, or rather, the lack of constant pressure. In Sardinia, time seems to move slower. People talk in the streets. Shops close in the afternoon for rest. There's no rush to conquer the day. Life unfolds naturally. Antonio naps after lunch and wakes to the sound of laughter from the cafe below. Richard, like many Americans, spent 40 years in a world that never stops: emails, bills, deadlines, and noise. Even in retirement, his mind races. Studies show that chronic stress is as damaging as poor diet or smoking, yet few escape it. Italians, by contrast, live with a rhythm that lets their hearts recover every day. The fourth reason is connection. Loneliness shortens life, and America is quietly suffering an epidemic of it. Richard lost his wife years ago and sees his children only on holidays. His friends have either moved away or passed on. Antonio, by contrast, is never alone. Neighbors stop by unannounced, children visit daily, and even strangers greet him warmly in the street. Community, not medicine, is what keeps his heart strong. Scientists studying blue zones, regions where people live exceptionally long, found that social connection was the single most consistent factor in longevity. Humans aren't designed to live in isolation. They're built to belong. The fifth and final reason is attitude. Ask an elderly Italian about aging, and you'll hear laughter. They don't see getting old as decline. It's simply another chapter. They stay curious, purposeful, and proud of their years. Antonio still makes wine every autumn, though his son handles the heavy barrels now. "It gives me a reason to wake up," he says. In contrast, Richard often feels invisible. In America, aging is seen as a failure of youth rather than an achievement of endurance. That quiet despair can do more harm than illness itself. None of these differences are about wealth or access to advanced healthcare. In fact, many Italians live modestly, without fancy supplements or fitness trackers. Their secret lies in balance, in living as if life is to be savored, not managed. They walk, they eat slowly, they talk often, they rest, they love. That night, Antonio raised his glass as the crowd sang for him. To health, someone shouted. To time, another added. Antonio smiled. To living well, he said, every single day. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, Richard turned off his TV and looked out at the quiet street. Maybe, he thought, it wasn't too late to change a few things, to call his daughter, to take a walk, to cook something real. Perhaps the difference between 75 and 100 isn't measured in years at all, but in how deeply one chooses to live the ones they have.